products are enjoyed around the world. But something else happened 131 years ago. The AOAC gathered for its very first annual meeting. By the way, I love the wardrobe. Ron, perhaps you could consider for tomorrow? Something like that, no? Coca-Cola and the AOAC are very different. One is for profit, one non-profit, one serves consumers, and the other serves scientific progress. But think about it. It would be very hard for global food and beverage companies without organizations like AOAC. You build consensus, you harmonize standards, and you create worldwide confidence in analytical results and analytical methods. You have helped enable a great global system, a system that feeds the world safely, efficiently, and affordably. And you should be very, very proud of the work you do, and all of it on a volunteer basis. Given today's challenges, we need your leadership even more. And our membership in the AOAC is one we very much value. We've done projects together, and several Coca-Cola associates have served with many of you over the years. All of you, I'm sure, know Dr. Henry Chin, who served on your board and as AOAC president. Dr. Arti Arora, who's actually part of the SRA team right now, was also a board member and co-chaired a stakeholder panel. And Dr. Chris Smith, who's in the room, Chris, chaired a working group. Wave to the crowd. Today, we face many emerging safety issues, both microbiological and also chemical. There are concerns about food allergens. There are contaminants and adulterants that are difficult to detect. And we've seen many incidences. Melamine in infant formula, chloramphenicol in honey, E. coli, listeria, and salmonella outbreaks. That requires advances in instrumentation and analytical methods, all areas where you play a vital role. And the marketplace has become much more global for both raw materials and finished product. At the Coca-Cola Company, we source ingredients from around the world, including Zico coconut water from Thailand, orange juice from Brazil, and gold peak tea from Kenya. And I promise I had nothing to do with that. Therefore, it is critical that we set requirements from grove to glass. We secure food quality and safety. In addition, food, beverages, and food ingredients are crossing borders like never before. But the regulatory environment is complex, diverse, and evolving. That creates a greater need for standardization and harmonization, another area where you do important work. Today, everything is moving faster, both facts and falsehoods. People have access to more information than ever before, and that's a good thing. You can Google an ingredient and get a lot of information, but some of the information may be wrong or out of context. In addition, consumers are driving change. We see increasing demands for quality and safety. Consumers want to know that their products are sustainably sourced or certified organic. They want to buy from good stewards of the environment, and consumers want transparency. At the same time, consumers lack trust in food and in the food supply, partly driven by these very public incidences that have resulted in recalls, illnesses, and sometimes even death. Back in 2011, when we were celebrating 125 years, our chairman, Muta Kent, said something very poignant. In today's interconnected world, a reputation that has taken over 125 years to build can be destroyed in a matter of 125 seconds. So given this context, today I would like to talk to you about three things. First, how the Coca-Cola Company is changing to address these challenges, changes that some of you may also be making. Second is an area of great need, the gaps in capacity around the world. And third, how we can make a difference, both as individuals and collectively. So in this environment, how does the Coca-Cola Company ensure safety and quality of every serving in our ever-expanding portfolio of products and brands everywhere around the world? Our priority is to ensure that our products meet the gold standard for quality and food safety. Therefore, we must design quality and food safety into our products and processes on the front end. We cannot wait to react once the product has been manufactured. Let me give you a quick snapshot of the team I lead and how we're changing. So we have about 150 scientific and regulatory affairs folks based in over 45 locations around the world. And like you, they are food scientists, chemists, nutritionists, microbiologists, toxicologists, pharmacists, PhDs, and sometimes even MDs. Indeed, one of our toxicologists, Dr. George Pugh, will be presenting in a session this afternoon. And our team does three main things. We make sure that the necessary scientific research is available to support the safety of all our ingredients. Our second role is to engage with the scientific and regulatory stakeholders and participate in industry associations and scientific organizations, of course, like the AOAC. And we also ensure regulatory compliance of all our ingredients, products, packaging labels, and even communication. Now, those three tasks probably sound the same for an SRA organization at many other companies. But there are a few things that perhaps make our work at the Coca-Cola Company a little bit different. First, it can be complex. Because we are so global, we deal with more than 200 regulatory bodies and all the standards that flow from them. Second, we work in a space that's under great scrutiny, whether about health, artificiality, or even contamination. And third, consumers' desires are changing rapidly. So we are innovating faster than ever before. For most of our history, we had just one product, Coca-Cola. And today, we have over 3,900 products, and that will increase going forward. This fluid future doesn't always fit in today's fixed regulatory environment. For example, in most countries, the composition of a typical carbonated soft drink is defined by regulations or standards of identity. So carbonated water, a sweetener, food acid, maybe a color, perhaps some flavorings. But what about new ingredients or new products? Like Coca-Cola Plus from Japan, which contains fiber. That's not in the food standard. Or new beverages like Fairlife, milk that has been through a unique filtration process, or stevia, a natural sweetener. What does all this mean for me and my team? We've had to change, and change quickly. As Lee Iacocca, the former head of Chrysler, once said, even a correct decision is wrong when it is taken too late. Today, speed is of the essence. 50 or even 20 years ago, SRA could afford to live in a bubble. We could tell the business yes, we could tell the business no. We could provide our research reports in our own scientific jargon. We didn't have to think about the business needs. But those days are over. Today, we must be partners with the business. We have to find ways to help the business achieve its goals. Just having the right answer is not enough. We must communicate it simply and clearly. We need to move faster. Luckily, I know a thing or two about moving fast. After all, I'm from Kenya. However, it can be tough culturally because we're scientists. We want to have the complete story, the double-blind, peer-reviewed study before we say anything. But often our business leaders need to know what we know now, and they can get more details later. Our CEO, James Quincy, talks constantly about seeking out new ideas. He talks about ideation on versions, 1.0, 2.0, and so on, like the iPhone. So in the last few years, we've developed communication materials that are aligned with today's reality. We can talk about aspartame in 140 characters or less. Here's a tweet. Hi there, absolutely. Aspartame is safe and helps us create great tasting drinks with fewer calories. Do you know how long it took for 5 scientists, including myself, to write that? To paraphrase Mark Twain, it takes more time to write something short and sweet. We also create infographics and even animatics to explain the safety of ingredients. Let's take a look at one. I have to be honest. As a scientist, I wasn't trained to communicate like that. But in today's world, this is what it takes. And so my team and I are learning. Slowly but surely. We've also become more transparent. In the US, we have a website, Coca-Cola Product Facts, that contains ingredient and nutrition information on all products. The website also includes information on ingredients sourced from genetically engineered crops, which, by the way, is a voluntary declaration. And we're going even further. Recently, we became the first company to launch a fully automated solution for Smart Label. Now a consumer can scan a QR code on our package and get complete information on ingredients and more. Let's take a look.
Finding out what's inside the products you buy shouldn't be a mystery. Coca-Cola believes that making a decision about what product to buy should be as easy as it is to enjoy it, and that everyone should have access to info on a product that goes way beyond what's on the label. The Coca-Cola Company is fully committed to promoting clear and transparent facts across all of its products that will allow its consumers to make more informed choices. One of the ways it is doing this is in partnership with the Grocery Manufacturers Association through an initiative called Smart Label. Through the use of QR codes on the Coca-Cola Company's products, Smart Label provides loads of info for everyone from any smart device. Info that goes way beyond what can fit on the label. To access the Smart Label information, look for the Smart Label branded QR code on the package. Then scan it with your smartphone or tablet. You can get your own QR scanner app for any of your devices by simply downloading one via the App Store on your smartphone or tablet. The Smart Label codes on the Coca-Cola Company's products instantly provide valuable nutritional data, in-depth ingredient info, and ingredient definitions, so nothing is mystery. Allergen info, organic certifications, content about genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, and an abundance of additional product info that you just can't squeeze onto a normal label. But if you still have questions or concerns, you can contact the company directly. Basically, everything that goes into our products is now at your fingertips. It's the next best thing to being right there when we make it. The Coca-Cola Company is taking a leadership role in the adoption and rollout of Smart Label, and is on track to have this available on all packs by Q1 2018.
So how are you adapting? That's the environment that we all face and how the company and my team are working to adapt. Are you finding ways to move faster? Are you developing materials for social media? Are you thinking about the needs of all your stakeholders? Now let me turn to the huge gap in capacity in different countries. And of course, coming from Kenya, this is something I'm very passionate about. There's a big capacity gap to meet standards, test products, and ensure safety. If we're being honest, the benefits of our progress do not reach everyone. This is something that I've experienced personally, having been fortunate to have the opportunity to get a world-class university education here in the US. It's also something that I have experienced professionally, having traveled the world for the Coca-Cola company. I've been to 72 countries, meeting with governments, scientific, industry, and academic leaders. And the contrast can be dramatic. Last year, I was in Seoul, South Korea, at the Korean Food Industry Association, and I saw renderings of the new lab they are building, 6 floors, as modern as can be. 3 days later, I was in Hong Kong at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University Food Safety Consortium, and I saw state-of-the-art equipment used to detect adulteration in edible oils. It was truly impressive, but this is not always the norm. In less developed countries, I meet with food and health authorities that lack even the basic training and equipment. I'll never forget sitting in regional meetings and taking part in robust discussions on advancing standards and methods, and I noticed something. The representatives from some countries didn't say a word. They sat quietly in the corner. Why? Because they knew they didn't have the capacity or capability to reach these standards. So what happens when we set standards that much of the world cannot meet? What happens when local farmers are locked out of export markets because their country doesn't meet global standards? How can we ensure safe, high-quality food and beverages for every citizen when there are so many gaps in capacity? There are no easy answers, but I believe that together we can make progress. And I have to say, AOAC has already set a very good example. Your stakeholder process that brings everyone to the table and gives everyone a voice is a great model. To me, capacity means 3 things: infrastructure, training, and connection to international developments. Infrastructure, of course, includes labs and equipment. It also involves using the appropriate scientific methods. Capacity means training, ensuring people have the right training and capabilities, and keeping the skills relevant and up to date. And capacity also means international connections and collaboration with international bodies, like the AOAC. These relationships ensure that scientists and regulators from around the world have access to the latest thinking and insights. And those connections can come by attending international gatherings such as this one, or connecting virtually. In many places, all 3 elements of capacity, infrastructure, training, and international connections are lacking. So what can we do about it, both individually and collectively? First, let me say that you are already doing so much. It is amazing that all the work of the AOAC, all the meetings, the working groups, councils, stakeholder panels happen because you very graciously volunteer your time and your talents. So what more can we do? As individuals, we can continue to share our expertise. We can be a bridge to the next generation of scientists. I've been trying to do that in my own small way, spending a day on a college campus here and there. 2 years ago, I did an executive in residence program at my alma mater, the University of Missouri. I've also visited Montclair State University, and earlier this year I visited the Ohio State University and Spencer Davis students. It reminded me of how important it is for the next generation to get exposure and international experience. If you haven't yet, think about going back to your alma mater to share what you have learned over the years. At Mizzou, I support a study abroad program for food science students, and this summer, 21 students spent several weeks in Germany for food science immersion. They visited the Max Rubner Institute to learn about modern analytical methods for meat quality. They also learned about viticulture and enology, and from the pictures, they seem to have sampled the product. They seem to be having a really good time. And I was thinking perhaps next year I should volunteer to chaperone. We can also share our knowledge with other scientific professionals, academics, and regulators. I am helping Professor Ruth Onyango, who I met at the World Congress of Food Science and Technology last year in Dublin, Ireland. She's trying to make sub-Saharan Africa more food sufficient and also attract the next generation of food scientists. I am sure that many of you could stand up here and share examples of the things that you were doing. Think about the people you know, think about their needs, and how you can share your expertise. Who is a Professor Ruth in your life? Someone who is trying to do good, but needs a little help. Collectively, we can do even more through our organizations and employers. In 2015, the Indonesian National Agency of Drug and Food Control, BPOM, asked Coca-Cola for help with risk assessment training, and we connected them to several organizations here in the US that could conduct the training pro bono. In Nigeria, together with other food and beverage companies, we partnered with a local university to develop and conduct a food safety workshop. As most of you know, the USDA Foreign Ag Service conducts food safety and regulatory harmonization training in the developing world. Just this July, they conducted workshops in Hanoi and Jakarta to share developments on food additives. We can also build partnerships and coalitions to close the gap, the capacity gap. The World Bank has the Global Food Safety Partnership, and last year they conducted a Train the Trainer program to help Indian regulators build lab testing capacity. And of course, we can leverage technology better. Today, many rural communities are making great strides with telebanking, banking the unbanked, and even telemedicine, bringing medicine to very remote areas. We can leverage the internet and use technology to bring the latest in food safety and analytical capability to every corner of the world. And I believe that AOAC and its members are well positioned to address these challenges. You have the expertise, and you bring the right stakeholders together. So if we close these gaps, if we help all countries reach higher standards, the benefits will be many. Their citizens will enjoy safe, high-quality food and beverages. They will have more confidence in their governments and regulations, and it will have important economic benefits. Benefits that will help less developed countries grow their economies. In January, at the FAO WHO Coordinating Committee for Africa in Nairobi, we heard from Willie Bett, Kenya's Minister of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. He told us that if Africa does not raise its standards, Africa will not be able to export more produce and products to the first world. He laid out the challenges. For example, making sure people know the regulations, use the approved crop protection technologies, and conduct the proper testing methods. And he discussed the benefits. More exports, more foreign currency, and more revenue. As the Director General of the FAO said, food safety and food standards are crucial to unlock the potential of an important tool to fight hunger, which is trade. developing countries look to food as a revenue generator. In fact, next month I'll be speaking at a conference in Abuja, Nigeria, on rejuvenating the Nigerian economy through the food value chain. This is just one of the many outcomes of closing the capacity gap. So if we work together, we can create a world where innovation is unlocked, where citizens are healthier, where regulators have confidence in their tools and methods, and where greater trade and economic growth opens new doors of opportunity. In closing, we live at a remarkable time, one full of problems, but also possibilities. As a daughter of Africa, as a food scientist, and as part of a great global company, I see what's possible because I have lived it. Individually, our power is limited. Like me, you are just one individual in a company, a university, an organization. But together, we have great power. We stand on the shoulders of giants. Your predecessors, who for 133 years have met the challenges of their day. And now it's our turn, your turn, to meet the challenges of our day. What you do matters, but more importantly, what we do together can change the world. And progress can happen faster than you think. I mentioned my journey earlier, but I didn't tell you how my father was able to bring me to the US. My father grew up poor in a small rural village in central Kenya. It's a picture from the rolling hills of Nyeri in Kenya. He was the first in his family to attend high school, and he didn't own a pair of shoes until he was 17. But in the 1960s, there was a commitment to build capacity in Africa to develop the next generation of leaders. And American universities opened their doors and their pockets to students from Kenya and other African countries. Senator John F. Kennedy funded an airlift to get those students to the US. One of those young students was my father. He got an opportunity to study in the US, including earning a master's from Harvard's Kennedy School of Government. He set an example of opportunity that I have followed. Imagine all that progress in a single generation. This tells me that anything is possible tomorrow if we work together to build capacity today. Thank you very much. And as we say in Swahili, asante sana. And now I will return the podium.